So fair enough. Live television, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. Whitey, hello, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Thanks for making it.
Yeah, sorry.
A bit late into Sydney, were you?
Yeah, a little bit delayed, but we're here now.
Very good.
Well,
now that you are, let's talk a bit about last Saturday night too. It was brutal, wasn't it? They really jumped you.
They did, yeah. We knew they were going to come out of the blocks firing. We'd spoken about physicality a fair bit during the week, so that was probably the most disappointing thing, was that we'd spoken about it and we didn't deliver on it. Look, they got us on the hop. You can't give anyone 19 points lead, especially not a good England outfit. So, yeah, look, there's plenty for us to look at there. I thought we showed plenty of ticker in the second half, but like I said, you can't give 19 points up.
Whitey, you've touched on it, and it leads perfectly into the subject they gave me, which was physicality, as you can imagine. Were they any different, England, in the way they approached it from the week before? Because from up high in the commentary box, it looked like they were just a lot more channelled with their aggression. Was it that much of a step up from what you found in Perth?
Look, it was a little bit up, probably. It was a little bit in the game, but we're looking at the games moment.
Is that from the Suncorp on your nose?
Yeah, a little bit there, but look, mate. The big fellas, that's their job to get their hands on little fellas' merch, you'd know that. But look, mate, it's
Until you outweigh them once you've retired.
Yeah, I'm not sure I love that. But look, it was up a little bit, but I don't think they came at us in any way that we didn't know was going to come. That was probably the most disappointing. Is, like I said, we'd spoken about it. They kind of came straight through the middle at us. There was no real deception in the way they came through us. It's been a tough week in that regard, in kind of sitting on that, mulling it over. So, look, the game can't come quick enough.
But then you knuckle down, right? You get 2 quick tries, Tupou, Karevi. You get within 5 points, get a penalty goal, you start going direct, you start to get some options left and right of the breakdown, and we start to think, is this Perth all over again? You know, you started to get on top of that. Yeah,
certainly felt the momentum coming back our way. We just gave up too many at the start. We certainly know that we've got a really, really strong bench.
Yeah.
We just got to show a bit more up front in the first bit. You know, if we're there and thereabouts, like we've shown it throughout Super Rugby, we're a pretty fit mob now, and we've got a lot of depth. We've had to lean on that depth a fair bit, But next man up, and look, we felt out there we were coming home with a sail. So. It's that part of the game has been a positive for us the last couple of weeks, but the start both weeks in a row, we just haven't been quite there. So, like I said, it's been some tough viewing, some hard conversations, a bit of poking in the chest of, it's been good for us. We can't wait for this weekend now. We lost, we know that, but it's 1-1. When we come to Sydney, it's a sellout. We get our chance to get our hands on that Ella Mobs Cup. It's all there for us. So, look, it's been tough, and it has been. You guys have been part of when you lose a game, it's rough, that Monday review. But it's all there for us now, so it's exciting.
You talk about that momentum shift after half time in that Test match. Your 50-22, that was, you thought it was there, and the crowd went behind you, had your fist pumped up. Did you realise that the carry here, just there, when I think it was Angus Bell, just across the 50-metre line, and that's the reason why they pulled it back? Live, you thought it was 50-22?
Yeah, live. I think we've had a chat with the referees around clarity around that, and that the ball's on the line and brought back in, and they believe it's still a 50-22. So it's a tough one. It's a game of millimetres, but that was one that momentum was pretty big with us. Marcus was in the bin, knew they had to manipulate their back line. We knew how tough it was when Izzy went off, and they really targeted the area that he missed, and we knew Marcus was off the field, and that's a pretty big moment.
Because it's probably that key moment, James kicking one out in the full, line out not throwing straight, probably those 3 key moments. You could have nearly iced the game in the end. There
were plenty of opportunities for us there to ice that game out, and we weren't good enough in the end. So, like I said, I think there'll be plenty of opportunities there for us, but we've got to arrest that first half. When we get opportunities back into the game, we iced them in Perth. We weren't good enough up there in Brisbane, but we want to create more opportunities down there. I think the territory in the first half just wasn't good enough, and that's a number of things: penalties, missed tackles, kicking game. So there's a lot of parts for us to digest there. But look, we'll create opportunities. We just got to. And when we think we are good enough, we create enough, we'll make enough of them stick. So
might not have been a 50-22, by the way, but it was still a hell of a kick.
Oh,
and deserved that, enormous vertical leap on the way down and a bit of a dance around, which was good. You led on to it as well. You led on to my next subject. I don't know if you've been seeing my emails from 9, but Stan as well. But the yellow card to Izzy Parisi, and I don't expect you to comment on the fact that it was absurd, which certain of the commentators didn't hesitate to get in and say it was ridiculous. And I maintain that it was ridiculous. I think the skill of players these days is such that he wasn't in a position to catch that. Anyway, what happened
So
at
why
that
didn't
point?
he catch it?
Well,
if he's in a position to catch it, why didn't he catch it?
Because it was a good pass. It was a rocket
Okay,
pass that went. I mean, there are passes that go this high that you can drop easily enough, let alone trying to use your athletic
He's still not in a position
ability.
to catch it. The way the law is adjudicated at the moment. Now, we can't just wax lyrical and just throw things out of the boat because we don't
No,
agree.
you certainly can't.
We need to galvanise. We need to get together concise information and make these rule changes at the right level, World Rugby.
Yeah.
But you're the one thing I think you're agreeing on is that it's a ridiculous law. Are you agreeing that the law is ridiculous?
I'm not sure that it's a ridiculous law. The intent of the law is to prevent things like cynical play, foul play, professional fouls, tomahawking the ball out of people's hands. That's still current. Palm up, palm down. You start to detach from the commercial image of the game to what you're trying to achieve on the field. We know that players are fitter, faster, stronger, and they're much more able to do these sorts of things. We know that law needs to be adjusted. It's not a ridiculous law. It prevents people getting in the way of passing channels and stopping tries.
So is it the interpretation that's wrong? Would you say
Possibly.
Parisi's actions there were cynical and deserving of a yellow card? I know what the law says what it is.
That's right.
My point is that the interpretation's not good. It's not black and white because it comes down to the referee's judgment as to whether they believe he was in a position to catch the ball or not, which I would say with the skill of these guys these days, you'd say he was in a good position
Do you
to catch
feel it on the field, mate? Fans, in all my time of playing and commentating, I've never had the heat of fans post-game and during the game. They hate this law. And I know World Rugby has the law in place and the referees have to adjudicate by that law. So I feel for the referees, but fans hate the law of knocking the ball down. I think actually Hill hit one early in the first half and it was just a scrum. They called it accidental. You guys as players, do you feel that on the field? And
Yeah, it's tough. You want Izzy to go for it because if he takes that and goes 90, it changes the game. There's times when wingers will get high and take intercepts and it's a 14-point swing. It looks like they're in the corner for all money and then we're going up the other end of the field. So
more of a reflex.
Yeah,
So you're watching that thinking he's a chance here.
I think
enough said.
But I just think
not,
I feel
that doesn't
sorry
validate it.
Yeah, I just feel sorry for
Peanut.
the referees.
That does not make Izzy Parisi catch the ball.
No, it's
he
not about
drops
catching
the
the
ball.
ball. It's
and
about
if Izzy
saying-
Parisi misses that ball, let me finish, and the English winger catches it, he's pretty close to scoring, isn't he, White? I know you're coming across some cover and you're the best at it, but he's a red-hot chance to score as well, isn't he?
Yep.
Okay, the defence rest, that's it. Thanks very much, argument finished, Mertz.
It relies on the
that's
referee
just a
to
ridiculous
determine
proposition.
whether he was a genuine chance
No,
to get
it's
it.
not.
Now, if you've got one of
He's
his teammates going, I was watching that thinking, he's
I'm
a
out.
genuine chance, he could go 80 here,
I'm out.
then
It's like arguing with Donald Trump.
So what's the answer?
The answer is to examine the law and take it to World Rugby with the representatives that we've got from New Zealand. We don't know who that is, by the way. We need to find him out. Dave Rennie, go to the law enforcement changes and canvass it properly. Don't create headlines and World Rugby doesn't care about us and all those sorts of things. That doesn't achieve anything.
On that note, let's go back to the sin bin in.
What do you think of the knockdown law, Sean?
Right, so Nic White just mentioned the Ella Mobs Cup, which is up for grabs on Saturday night. I just want to spin it round and highlight some of the amazing engravings that are on the back. So, team, this is representative of Mark Ella's Ewan Nation, where he grew up, a lot of mullet down around that corner of Sydney. It's all been designed by Mark's niece, Natalie Bateman, down there in the South Coast. So it brings together both sides with the engravings, including Mobs and Ella. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, brilliant. And it's...
Yeah.
I know we're having a bit of fun, but that's a thumbs up, fingers up, high five moment. But also, you talked about Mobs. Edgar Mobs won a DSO, sadly fell at Passchendaele, a war hero for England, and played in the first match between the Wallabies and England. So tells the stories of both nations, the stories of both rugby teams. I think it's a brilliant, brilliant trophy.
So that's a great trophy. A quick look now at some of the other trophies that have been up for grabs across the rugby world over the years. And, we'll start with the NRC. Remember the NRC? Yeah, it was a thing for a while there. They had the toaster. I don't know what this is that England are playing for with Rob Shaw.
That's a cobblestone from the Paris-Roubaix cycling.
They win a rock.
They've stolen that out of the road.
The Buckeyes play for a turtle. There's the tortoise up for grabs over there in college ball in the States. The wood chopper.
Yeah, the Wolverines and the Spartans over in the States play for that.
I prefer this.
That is a quad. So I'll tell you what, every other trophy there's been some shockers. And you know what? The great thing that Justin Harrison always talks about is it's a vessel, you can drink out of it. So the winning team can drink out of it.
Let's swing into some of the highlights from across the rugby world now from the weekend. Fingers up, fingers down. If you like it, it goes up. If you don't, it goes down. We're starting local. Get your eyes around this kid, folks. One. Wait for the charge. Who else wants some? You want some. He's not done. Wait for the tackle from behind, folks. I'll get you. Wait. Sit down!
That's brilliant.
That's fingers up.
Brilliant. And you know what? It's not all about pace, is it? Sometimes you wait for them to catch you and get rid of them with the don't argue. That's a definite finger up.
Like a young Angus Bell. Under 20s action now, Wales v South Africa, and things were hot there in the Summer Cup, and the Welsh number 5, Daffer Jenkins, just walks into the Springboks set up and just takes their water bottles.
You know what? I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. You know, if he's tired, he's thirsty, his water bottles are a long way away. It's probably not COVID safe.
No.
But I'm giving you that finger up. That's good.
Okay.
I'll tell you that. If you're thirsty, the man's thirsty.
I think we're going to be fingering upwards a whole bunch right now as we have a look at some of the minnows tries from the weekend. And we're starting with Chile. Look at this try, folks. Look at him go, Rodrigo Fernandez. You think he's done? He's got to be done. Is he done? Nah, still going. Try.
Really try. That's a simple one. The minnows are roaring. It's the best number 10 try you've ever seen. And then we had Matt Dunning last week. I think he's inspired front rowers everywhere. Look at this. Reserve hooker for Spain. Off he goes.
Thierry Fouchou, his name is. Look at him move. Spain are going to put away Canada 57-34. Go the minnows. Vamos, vamos, vamos. Español.
That's a brilliant, easy one.
Yeah. There's a lot of that this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I'm really positive. I don't know what Drew was thinking.
He was the down guy.
But this is a lot positive. I'll tell you what, I've got some homework for you, though. I want to have a look at a try that Georgia scored. Look at the try, but also listen to the commentary. If the Wallabies go on a run this weekend, I want to hear Sean Maloney just like this. This one.
I don't know what Georgian for fingers up is, Nick McCarter, but we just heard it.
Very good, very good. Georgia actually in Australia's pool at the World Cup next year, so they're a team to look out for. Whitey, congratulations this weekend, your 50th Test match.
Wow.
How good. It's come up so quickly. How's the build-up been for you? Like, does it feel special?
To be honest, it'll be something I'll reflect on maybe after the game and in the week off. You know, everything this week's just been about, you know, getting our hands on that trophy over there. So, yeah, look, you know, being announced in any team is a huge moment. Your 50th, it was cool, but like, I'm not someone that'll kind of, you know, tend to look back on things like that too much. Like, at the moment, it's all about winning this weekend, all about getting our hands on that trophy, and I know what it'll mean to the team, to the rugby supporters in Australia at the moment. Like, we need this.
Absolutely, absolutely we do. I do know, though, that you did have a little bit of time out this week. Aston Villa came into camp. I mean, and you met one of your heroes as well?
Yeah.
Bandit.
I can call him Stevie
You were
G
a bandit,
now.
weren't you?
Stevie G.
Stevie G. Mate, Stephen Gerrard. Like, I walked past towards the elevators, caught his eyes and turned around and pretended to talk to Samu and had to go to Samu. Like, mate, I think he's just over me. And then he got up and came over and spoke to us. Awesome guy. Yeah, we had them come down after training, do a bit of a crossbar challenge, teach us how to juggle a football, and mate, awesome.
Stevie G.
Yeah. So, mate, lovely guy. Honestly, so humble for a guy. You know, played 500 games for Liverpool. Obviously, the GOAT of England, and yeah, to have them around, like, just to see how they're doing things was pretty cool. But like I said, a lot of this week's just been about you know, getting our hands on that cup.
500 games, obviously 10 times 50. So to come back to 50 and a chance to bring it back to myself.
Wow.
Always
Great
try to bring
segue.
it back to myself, but some people don't have a wonderful experience on their 50th. My own was a bit of a tough one because Joe Nalomu also playing his 50th on the same day, so straight away I was being forgotten. Also I came off the bench and triple whammy, lost to Australia. So covered myself in ignominy. Were you just relieved just to be getting the number 9 jersey to start off on your 50th? And what's your focus during the week to mark your own milestone?
Yeah, I guess prepare, not just the team, but myself as much as possible. It is a team game, but you've got to get selfish with your own preparation and make sure you're in the right mindset to play well, because the best thing I can do for the team is to go out there and play well. So a lot of the focus is on that. There's parts of my games that I'm not happy with at the moment. There's being a 9, there's part of the game that we've got to work on as a team and driving that. And like I said, this week it's been tough. There has been a few times where I've had to poke the chest to make sure we're right and in the right frame of mind to get the job done this week. So look, again, it's been all about getting our hands on that trophy, and that'll be the best way of marking it, right? Is playing well, putting out a performance that we can't guarantee a win, but we'll guarantee we do everything as possible to make sure guys see that we're giving for this jersey and giving for this team. So that's where my mind's been at this week.
H. Wilson, there. That's a big green box, isn't it? It's so important for you, that back row combination. Harry Wilson, left and right options, footwork, stayed at home last year. Back in that gold jersey, he's got to be keen.
Yeah, he's hungry and he just brings so much energy, right?
Yeah.
Like he wants to get his hands on the ball. He wants to, lead the line speed up, put on he wants to have an impact on the game. Whether he's got the hands on the ball or in the defensive line, his communication skills is something that's is so important for any team. It's great to see him back. And like you said, he missed out last year and he's gone away. He's had a hell of a super season, and it's good to see a guy like that rewarded.
How's your death eyes going? Well, Greg's had some pretty good death eyes when you're out of position. The back rows are normally the ones that get in the way and get it right. Are you working on your death eyes as well for him, just to keep him honest?
Oh, I don't think I'll have the death eyes that Greg's had, but certainly, I don't think I get too many 3-2-1 votes whenever the guys get them. I won't be a Players Player award anytime. I've never won one, don't think I ever will. But
it's a sign of affection.
It's a position in the team that someone's got to do, and I think the guys know enough that I'm a different guy off the field than I am on it, and I just want what's best for the team. And like I said, it's about that trophy this week.
Now it's a big turnaround for Reece Hodge. And coming in, getting named, you might not have expected this a couple of weeks back, getting named at 15. Obviously, the guy who's covering 10 as well, so presumably you've had to get in and work a lot alongside Hodgie this week.
Yeah, he's a guy that when it comes to knowledge, he'll be red hot. Yeah, we have had to sit down a fair bit this week and make sure he's across it all. But he's a guy that crosses his T's, dots his I's, and he'll make sure he's one of the most professional athletes I've ever seen, and he'll be good for us this week.
It's a great comeback for him, though, isn't it, Reece Hodge? When you look at his first 5 or 6 games in the Rebels this year, I think he was off, had a red card early, got injured. Form was pretty poor, but he's fought his way back to actually get in the side. But what about Suli Vudavanu? Gets a chance off the bench. What's he been like at training? We always knew he was going to play in the gold jersey, but at training, I reckon he's an athlete first and then a rugby player second. What's he like at training? You've seen some stuff from him?
He's been pretty special the last couple of weeks. I think himself and Tate have been phenomenal at training. Some of the things they've done certainly prepared the team really well and rewarded justly with it.
Is he a talker?
When he needs to, yeah.
Yep.
He'll be dominant with his voice when he's another guy that just wants his hands on the ball. And getting his confidence to want to know where he can get the ball. And he's getting there. Look, the team erupted when he was announced.
Is that right?
It's just that sort of guy in the group, you know what I mean? Like when his name was called out, it means a lot. It means a lot to him, but it means a lot to the group. And like I said, he's been doing some special things at training. So hopefully he gets the opportunity to do that on the weekend.
A lot of Wallaby fans would have been pretty happy about that selection as well. Whitey, don't stuff up on Saturday night because you're on player cam all night. We've got this camera tracking you around, so have an absolute blinder. We'll have plenty to look at. This match also in crystal clear 4K on Saturday night as well. You'll see that on Stan Sport. Congratulations on the 50th. Go well. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Nic White is out of here. Let's check back in at the Sin Bin Inn.
He's out of here.
Congrats, Whitey. Congrats on your 50th. And as the great Nick McCullough said, don't stuff it up.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
Tough school. Real tough school. And Whitey's out of here. Okay, next up, a quick recap on last week where we got chatting, Morgs, around some of the great haircuts that have been rolled out throughout rugby over the years. And the helmet, the Horan came up. And this obviously all centred on the fact that you can get your hair cut at each and every one of the Wallabies games this year at the Old English barbershop, right?
They were queued up about 400 metres down Caxton Street, weren't they?
Were they?
They were.
All right.
Lined up.
All right.
To do what, though?
Let's find out.
Go Wallabies! Go Wallabies!
Yeah, well, as we touched on last week, this has been the #1 go-to at the Wallabies precincts across this series. What haircut to get? The big question is, does anyone want to get the helmet or the Horan? Let's find out. What do you reckon, mate? Would you be keen on getting your hair cut like this guy?
It's the worst haircut I've ever seen in my life. It looks horrible.
What about you, mate? You want to get the Horan?
It looks like he's come straight out of a trash can. I don't think I'd get that haircut in a million years. He should be ashamed of himself. Honestly, it's so bad.
Well, mate, you're the boss. Has anyone asked for the Horan yet?
Mate, we haven't had any questions yet for it, buddy. We've been looking for him, but not yet.
Is it because it's the ugliest head of hair you've ever seen?
No, he needs a bit of help because he's got to come to Langanas. That's what he needs to do, mate.
And who have you gone, buddy?
I'm going JOC at the front and then Pyro at the back.
What about you, mate? You reckon that one looks okay?
It looks horrible, mate. It's disgusting.
Are you a chance of getting this haircut?
100% no, that looks disgustingly ugly. I will pass on that one.
I literally want to vomit when I see that.
What about you, mate? You reckon you get it done like this?
I don't even know who that is. It looks like his mum gave him that haircut. It's so terrible.
All right, big guy, what do you reckon? Are you a chance of getting the Horan?
Oh, would love it, eh?
Are you in?
Yeah, mate.
Yay! Time for the helmet, baby.
Can we get one Horan helmet, please? Man, we've got this question asked a few times tonight. As long as you signed a consent form, we're right to do it, all right? Send, mate, let's go. We want a nice helmet. We got this coming up. Let's Send go, it, let's mate, go. send it. Sweet, brother. We got one Horn helmet, man. There you go, bro. Perfect. Looks beautiful, my man. Thank you, buddy. Good luck.
Oh, mate, I'm loving it. Don't know who he is, but love the haircut.
Oh, very good. Very good. He had a bit of the Jordan Patars about him.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see there's a big queue. Thanks, Shorty. Great stitch up, boys.
He's got a whole lot of helmet about him now as well.
And
very
Mertz,
good.
just quickly, what do you call people lining up for a haircut?
Yeah, I was very disappointed. I stood there for 2 hours because someone told me there was a massive barbecue.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
David Flatman, ladies and gentlemen, joining us.
Bloody.
Good to see you. You thought, just want to be on that show? Get me on that show.
I want to hear some Aussie language slang. Give it
Well,
to me.
I mean,
You've
first
been
of
here
all,
for a couple of weeks. Give it to me.
I was sitting listening to your chat about the is he the Parise's, the deliberate knock-on, was it or wasn't it? And I was in comms with Goog at the weekend, the first test, in that test, and Goog shouts out, "Man, it's sunlight, not grass." When you're thinking, and you're thinking all these things. He's commentating on British TV. No one knows what he's talking about. They like it because it sounds like Al Stewart from Home and Away, but they don't know what he's talking about.
Hey, hold on. So in the commentary, he was on the side of Parisi.
No. I said the exact same thing. I said the exact same thing. They used to talk about palm up, sunlight, and palm down grass, but they've gone away from that, Andrew. You and I are going to have to.
I think you're overusing those palms. That's what I think.
I'll watch, Nick.
Let's go back to the game quickly. When you look at how well England played, do you think most of that, by the look of it, Owen Farrell was under a fair bit of pressure after the first Test match? How good was he? Not just kicking the goals, obviously 20 points as well, but his carries and his tackles were unbelievable in this Test match.
Yeah, he seems actually to get better. He hasn't been in his best form since the couple of years after the last World Cup. He just wasn't in his best form for Saracens, for England. But he's a guy, he's such a driving force. He's such sort of an aggressive motivator in that team that they kind of were picking him, even though he wasn't in form. He got injured for a bit, came back for Saracens, and almost straight away his form looked better. But what he's been asked to do now is almost kind of not run the show quite so much, get the ball in Marcus Smith's hands as often as possible, and not be an assistant, but actually play as a 12. Don't play as a second fly half. And
he's got a carry, which he carried more than
you would probably know slightly more than me about playing 12, Timmy, maybe slightly. But he looked like more of a 12 versus a second fly half at the weekend. And what he did was very, very high quality. But what he offers is when you're watching it live and you're near the pitch, you just hear the bloke screaming at everyone. And some things don't change, whether you're under 10s, or you're playing for your local pub, or you're playing for England or the Wallabies. If you got someone driving you on like that everyone respects that much, it makes a massive difference. He's just, I think, a spiritual leader.
Flats, one of the most influential English players for me was Billy Vunipola. We know he's had a long time out of international footy, and he seems to be finding his feet or back on top of his game on last week's showing. But he's just superb, whether with the ball or just doing some of the unseen stuff on the field, isn't he?
I tell you what, Mert, so what I don't get when I watch Billy at the weekend, and quite often watch him, how does someone that big stay that productive for 80 minutes? I mean, he's the same weight as Daniela Tupou, and he's productive. He's doing really, really high-quality work. He's contesting breakdowns. He carries hard, takes up 3 defenders, even when he's not making ground. He's sharp, he's on his feet, he's got footwork. There are flashier number 8s around. And again, he wasn't in amazing form. A couple of guys back in England, Alex Dombrant, Sam Simmons, unreal form. Dombrant, the Harlequins, number 8. Those guys are both injured. Now, if they were both fit, would Billy be here? I'm not sure. But he's taken his chance, because Dombrant in particular has been flying, like outrageous form. Billy's arrived, and wow, he's answered it. And he had been written off back in the UK, written off for the next World Cup. He's a goner. I'd be very surprised if he's not in France next year.
He's impressive, isn't he? Because he doesn't look like an elite athlete. He looks like a beanbag stuffed into a white sock, really.
Yeah, but I mean, equally, you look like a pregnant snake and you played for Australia, so, you know.
That's now.
You
just look pregnant all over.
Exactly it, yeah. Not all of us look like elite athletes, I'll say that.
Talking of talisman, a couple of people stood up for the English side, but Ellis Genge, right, straight from the outset, bang. Eddie Jones is talking about getting flatter, being harder, attacking. First carry straight over Michael. I've never seen Michael Hooper miss a tackle like he missed on Genge, and straight away that set the tone, didn't it?
Mate, absolutely speed bumped him, and there was a penalty that went the Aussies' way in the scrum where I think Ellis Genge really went for Tupou and got him. I think it was the wrong call. Carries were massive. The thing you get with Genge is he's very, very athletic bloke. So what he was a ball carrier, almost when he was younger. I think he played number 8. Mega ball carrier, produces a lot of power. Had to become an elite scrummager. He's there now. He's really getting there. He's England's first choice by quite a long way. And England have got a lot of good loose heads. Vunipola, Joe Marler's still at home. They've got a lot of good boys. But Genge is aggro, mate. He is aggro. If he played 30 years ago, he'd be knocking people out left, right and centre. He can't now, so he doesn't.
So it's Danny Grewcock.
Danny Grewcock, basically.
But professional.
But he is unbelievably confrontational. Really, really confrontational bloke. He loves it.
So his head-to-head with Daniela Tupou,
I love it.
It was fascinating. And I know, you said pre-game the other night, it was basically the reason you got on the plane to come and see Nella play.
Yeah, he didn't even play in the first test, Tupou. That's the only reason I flew over. I'm not sure he knew. I love it. Wish he knew I was here, or who I am. I love him, mate. I love him. I think there's more to him than just a massive bloke. He develops a lot of power. He actually, do you know what? I was walking behind him, right, as he was walking out to warm up, and I thought, the bloke, I say this as a compliment, he's so big, he can hardly walk. He's the weight of a terraced house, but he actually looks more comfortable at full speed than he does walking. Walking, you're like, that don't look right. Starts running and you're like, now it works. He's an unusual guy, but I love him. I absolutely love him. I love the fact that he's playing against Genge at the weekend, because Genge want to take him apart. He hates him. Absolutely hates him.
Yeah, they have had a bit to say to each other. Flats is going to stick around. We're checking back in at the sin bin in Shawnee.
So this is what happens when Nick misses a week at work. He gets his throws wrong. It's still meant to be with you, I believe, McCarthy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, you're correct.
I've got nothing.
Well, you could help me by doing what I was supposed to do, but I'll do it now. That's fine. We're gonna see. So Tim went into Wallaby camp this week, and he had a chat to Daniela Tupou. Here it is.
So here we go, a bit of food for you, mate. So I've got your a nice little salad. So
thank you.
That's and
Appreciate that.
I got the chips and I got the barramundi and some prawns. No, well you're on a diet, aren't you? That's enough for you.
Yeah, that's more than enough, mate.
Yeah. And I got a little water for you. And I got a beer. Yeah. Thanks, Dale. Well done. Cheers, mate. Good to see you.
Mate. Good to see you too. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
When you came into Wallaby camp, we're all hearing you've lost 6 kilos or 8 kilos. Is this the diet, mate?
Oh yeah, this is it, mate. A few weeks ago, Dave called me. Said, "Look, mate, you know, before you come in, you need to lose a few kilos," and which is fair enough. Yeah, me and my missus, my family, and Dave sit together. You know, came up with a plan, and yeah, it's been going really well.
You scored a try for the Reds there this year in the Super Rugby comp. You gave one of these ones?
Yeah.
Little Nella running around.
Little Nella running around, so...
Yeah, good. That's exciting, mate. Does that give you more passion to play the game and then represent your family?
Yeah, like 100%. And now that I've got something to play for, you know, there's a little one. It's not about me anymore. It's about him and my partner. So, yeah, I've got a little family now, trying to look after myself and at my age, you know.
Yeah. Do you find that you sort of inspire some, you know, younger generations of Tongans to come to Australia, or if they live in Australia to play rugby?
100%. And one of the reasons why I love going back to Tonga, go back and share my story, and you know, I was just a little chubby kid from Tonga, not knowing how to speak the language.
Yep.
English, I mean, I left Tonga when I was 14.
14 you left Tonga, yeah.
You know, it was just tough. Like I did not want to go. I'll tell you that, I didn't want to go. Spoke to my mom. She said, "Look, if you want a better future, you have to go."
Yep.
And now, you know, 8 years later, I'm somewhere that I never ever thought I would be.
Yep. Do you reckon that experience has set you up now for where you are
100%,
now? Yeah.
100%. If I gave up, I would have been in Tonga. I don't even know if I was going to be a rugby. You know, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. And I listened to my mom, and now I'm able to help change that. And I have a family, and he doesn't have to go through what I went through.
Yeah,
so.
right. What are your goals this year in this jersey?
Obviously, I want to be able to start.
Yep.
You know, to walk up here next year, and I want, you know, and I want to win.
Yep.
It's so easy to say that, but I actually want to win.
Yep.
You know, and I've seen the photo of you and your daughter on the Bracelet Cup. Because now I'm having my son, and I want to be able to do that too. I want to be able to do the Bracelet Cup this year, put my son in there and take a photo.
Yeah.
So and in a few years' time, we can look back and no, I just want to win, man.
Yeah.
I want to play well and I want to win and I want to do well with the jersey.
Yeah. Anyhow, we love watching you play, mate. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Keep going with your diet.
We do, mate.
I can share a chip with you.
No, that's all right, mate. Thank you very much.
Mate, you're inspired, not just obviously a lot of people around Australia to play rugby, but the Pacific Islanders love watching you play, mate, so well done.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it, mate.
Well, from one of our favourite Wallabies props to our all-time favourite English prop, Dave Flatman, we're gonna take a little walk down memory lane with him here, aren't we, Morgs? And just go way back when with Flats, and it all kicked off you in Saracens. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it did. It's a beautiful story, actually, Sean. It's real. It's, lovely big legs on me. Lovely big pair of legs on me. As you can see, there, a full head of hair. I chose to shave it for practical reasons. It's a real rag to riches story.
Yeah.
Except I had quite a nice childhood and never quite made it to the top. But it doesn't quite work. They're not going to make a movie of it. It all started at Saracens. Francois Pienaar was our boss then. He was chief exec, captain, open side, bus driver, chef. He was everything. He ran the place, and we had an amazing team that had Timmy Horan in it, and we won some games, very few trophies, as in no trophies at all. But that wasn't Tim's fault. When he played, he was often okay.
Whose salary do you reckon was bigger, Pienaar or Horan?
Oh, well, I think the government were paying. I don't know. I mean, I think they got paid in houses back in those days. I'm not sure. What I do know is that I was like the next big thing that never happened, and that's the truth. But I'm still the lowest paid. I was very young when I got my first cap for England. I was the lowest paid professional rugby player to have played for England. I was on £5,000 a year, which is £100 a week, 2 weeks unpaid, and I had an itchy backside quite a lot. Oh, that's man of the match. Don't worry about that. That was just.
There you go.
quite big jerseys. Those are the days. Those are the days.
And
what could have been?
And you obviously go a long way back with Goog as well on the other side of the studio here at Stan Sports.
Here we go.
What are your recollections of your time back in the day with Justin Harrison?
I mean, we must have... how many years were you at Bath, Goog? Few years, 15 years.
Yeah.
And we played a lot of games together. And my main memories were, if you want to be frank, is Justin saying the same thing before every game, which was, no secret out there, boys, no secrets, no secret. I never knew what it meant. Boys, no secrets. Never knew what it meant. And I'm about to go into a scrum and you'd say, Googie, you see the biggest hand you've ever seen come through your legs. And he'd be like, okay. I used to hand him my waistbands. If I didn't, it was dangerous. I knew at some point I wanted to have children. And what I'd say is Goog is, as you know, was and still is very tall. Otherwise, that's where the genetic gifts ended. But what he lacked in the natural genetics, you know, of the Nathan Sharps of this world, he made up for with raw aggression. And geez, he was good on a Saturday night. We had a great time.
Yeah, well, you weren't, because Flats. Interesting fun fact, everyone. I mean, Flats, can you do this? You talk about genetically gifted. Can you straighten your arms?
I mean, officially no. I used to be your height. I mean, I can't straighten my legs, my arms. I mean, you know, this is a true story. I was just on a monitor over there, and I saw myself on a monitor, and before I came on, and I noticed that I've actually got a little hole here, and you can see it. But my shoulders are so rooted from 15 years of rugby, I can't take my jumper off on my own. So I didn't actually. I thought I'll whip it off and wear a t-shirt. I can't take it off.
Well,
so I've got to cut it off.
Go on. I'll tell you what, it hasn't held you back because, you know, pundit, international rugby player, male model.
Yeah.
Hey.
So punditry.
I mean, I don't want to go on about it, but there's a few bits going on. What I would say is,
it looks like Fast and Furious 52 with Vin Diesel.
You look like Tom Shankland. You look like the world.
I know, almost unreal, right? It's yeah. And what I would say is that everybody's got their niche, and mine is small, as is yours, I expect. But the niche exists nonetheless. So you get what you're given, mate.
All right, you do.
Yeah.
And I'm about to give you some more great rivalries between England and Australia. Aussies up against the odds over there in 2018. Go to Birmingham and take out the Steel World Sports wood chopping title. Downing.
Wow.
The English downing everyone a bunch of little-known Novocastrians on their way there to glory over in the UK. So there's an example of Australia beating England, and also, there was the 2016 Underground Face-Slapping Championships, which were held in Minsk.
I love that, though. I love it.
So the final is Australia v England, and this is Lord Slappington from Newcastle.
Oh, jeez.
Winner Australia.
Oh.
Yeah, there is another example.
There is.
Yeah, his name is Lord Slappington.
Lords, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, from the outskirts of
name,
Newcastle. And there's another example of Australia beating England. Hopefully we see that again on the weekend.
You might do.
We might. Big names here in the studio and big names out in the field as well. Here's Drew Mitchell.
Down here in Manly at the Aqua Rugby launch, and I bumped into a few of my old mates and thought I'd just take the opportunity to chat a little bit about what's going on in Wallaby land. So, Bernard, first I'll ask you, mate, what's your take been on the series so far?
Yeah, it's been a great series, you know, fiercely contested. I suppose checking the real foundations of the game, and you know, I think both teams have got to be solid, do their small things well, win your set piece, defend and kick well. And I think that, you know, seeing Australia sort of missed the jump last game, and England were able to capitalise, I think it's really setting up for a great third game.
Now, Swoop, you've been in plenty of Wallaby teams throughout your career. Where do you feel like this Wallaby team under Dave Rennie is sitting, and where are they placed moving into the World Cup next year?
I think culturally they're in a really good place. You can tell that they're playing for each other, not just only their jersey, but the intensity and the physicality that they're playing at is really, really promising. So it's going to set up for, like Nighty said, set up for a really nice decider.
And Gitch, I know you like a tip, so give us a tip for this weekend. What do the Wallabies have to do to win this decider?
Well, I think they've got to start fast. Obviously, they missed a jump, as Nard said in that last test, but I'd go Australia by 8. First try, scorer Samu Karevi.
Is that 1 to 12?
No, 1 to 8. Better odds. Better odds.
What are they paying? 1 to 8?
Oh, I reckon we'll lose at 640.
Are we allowed to?
No. for everyone else.
Yeah, and for anyone's betting, always bet responsibly. All right, thanks, boys. Let's catch up maybe on a couple of schooners on the super yacht.
Very good. Drew Mitchell, what a little team of champions that is. Hey, it's a hectic weekend. Deciders in all the test series between the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. Mertz, a lot of focus across the Tasman, Island and New Zealand after the Irish got their first win ever on New Zealand soil last week.
Yes, and it kicks off a great weekend, as we say, 4 deciders, and New Zealand gets to start it off. They've gone to Wellington now, went to Dunedin, one of the world's great cities to leave, and Ireland started off much like they did last week, except this time they continued on. They really hit the All Blacks with a ferocity. Beauden Barrett, a little bit of an opportunistic try there, but the Irish really kept the heat on and they kept the intensity up this week. Their running lines were fantastic. A bit of a consolation try at the end for the prodigious try scorer who is Will Jordan, but Ireland looked very, very good there, Tim. 23-12. Kiwis will point to those cards that did them a bit of a disservice, but it was their own discipline, really, that didn't help.
What did you make of the red card to Angus Ta'avao? Like, I thought, and I'm all for the welfare of players, for mums and dads to see, yellow cards and red cards, but he couldn't go anywhere. He had no time to dip. And I reckon the referees need a bit more latitude from World Rugby to say, listen, that's just a rugby collision. And that's just a scrum feed. No penalty, no cards at all. I think fans are getting a bit confused with that.
Well, I'm going to talk quietly because the World Rugby plant is sitting over there on the other side. And by plant, I don't mean one of those intelligent plants. I mean one of the big ones that hasn't evolved.
What do we do with that?
Well, I mean, for me, a red card needs to be intent.
Deliberate.
It needs to be deliberate foul play. So, yes, we've got to look after the head shots, and we've got to get players going low. They've got to come across low. At the same time, if you get Angus Ta'avao running across with his head down, he's going to get stepped, or he's going to get his head or his neck injured. So it's really hard. But I think the golden rule should be, could he have done anything differently? And really, he didn't have time to. So, I think we've got to look at it as the best I can say.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck set to make his debut off the bench this weekend, so that's another thing to look out for. We'll go to Cape Town. We've got a decider there as well. South Africa and Wales. Springboks.
Drama.
11 changes.
Yeah, 11 changes. And the Welsh team, we talk about teams that are playing for each other. This team, the Welsh side, are playing for each other and some. To stay in the game for this long, to have it go right down to the wire, they're done for all money here. They have a late try, and Anscombe, I know Flats has been putting this up on his screensaver at night. He's just waxing lyrical about how good that kick is. That is an amazing kick to win the Test match, and bring it down to the wire against South Africa. I mean, they're great. They are a great rugby nation. Wales are trying to find their identity again. I tell you what, that has displayed that they know what they're doing and how to do it.
And then completing the set, of course, from northwestern Argentina, coming to you. Actually, it's changed around. It's been in northwestern Argentina. Scotland bounced back in the second test to win quite convincingly against the Pumas. So Michael Cheika now 1 from 2. They go into their final match, obviously 1-1. But this was great. Look at this. It's at Estadio Padre Ernesto Marte Arena. That's a great shot from Mark Bennett, shooting through like an arrow. They did it again shortly as well. Sam Johnson, his centre partner, the 2 short balls to the centres, producing 2 tries for Scotland, and they ran away with it, 29-6. So, again, a decider. It's fantastic.
Argentina have been on too much of the 1 kilo stakes. Also, what about Australia, Of course, they had a match against Fiji. Some people were saying it was a bit of an upset, but Australia, I thought they played some really good footy in this match, and then Australia, they'll also take on Tonga this weekend. So I think it's been a pretty good tournament. 3 games in a row, which allows players to then go on, like, of course, Reece Hodge. If he hadn't played in the first game, he wouldn't have been available for the Wallabies, and he's got some opportunity. But then they brought in Matt Greeley, the under-20s captain, so they brought him in for Australia A. And this is Tonga against Samoa as well. So it's been a pretty good tournament.
Indeed. So, Tonga this weekend. So Australia A, look out for that. Now, when it comes to predictions, there's at least one of us in the room tonight that seems to have some level of skill.
The match is so evenly poised, it's really hard to pick a winner. If I had to go one way, I'm going to say maybe the Wallabies by 2 points, but it's going to be an absolute cliffhanger. People have been calling me Nostradamus all week after that incredible Wallabies by 2 prediction. I reckon the English are going to muscle up tonight. They're going to flex those big muscles that they've got up front. I reckon they're going to go for that series decider down in Sydney. My pick is England by 8-10.
Now, it should be said that Andrew Mertens can often be found polishing his crystal ball, so we call him Mystic Mertz. What do you got for us this weekend?
Well, I call myself Mystic Mertz, and it's been part of a very popular segment on Between Two Posts, which has been an incredibly popular show this year.
Why don't we call him Buddha Mertz? We could rub your belly.
The problem I have is that on Between Two Posts, I've got that crystal ball kind of effect, very close. You know, it's sitting there with a beard and normally with a microphone right in front of it, and I can just feel the predictions oozing off. Now, I don't have it so close this week. I've got Dr. Evil and Mini-Me over there. So I've lost the crystal ball effect, but I'm going to have a bit of a go, and you know what? I'm going to go in all four. We're going to say New Zealand by 2. I'm not going to talk about the next one because I'm amongst Australians here, and I do worry what's going to happen at the SCG if England can go on with it. England by 12.
Righto.
No, I worry because I think they'll muscle up, keep it going like last week, and then Australia's got to chase the game, and it's going to be very, very hard. South Africa to beat Wales.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Scotland will beat Argentina.
All right, look out for that. It's all on tape. We're going to check in. We will check in. Now, it is a sellout at the SCG. This decider is going to be one of the biggest test matches in recent memory in Australia. It's big for the crowd. It's big for the players. There is a whole lot to look out for.
Yeah, 3 matches in Australia, that's it's pretty unreal, and I guess with the big rivalry, which it is, we know there's going to be packed out stadiums there, so yeah, it'll be an awesome spectacle and something you really want to be involved in.
It's going to be so great to see people that we haven't been able to see in a while, and get the you know, that feeling of being in a live stadium and hearing the hits and the crowd when someone makes a break, or it doesn't get much better.
Really keen to play in front of home crowds. We know that everyone gets around, you know, the Wallabies versus England here at home, you know, and that opportunity to be back in front of full stadiums again is exciting, you know. So I think that just you know, brings a lot of thrill and you know, excitement to the boys who get that opportunity again.
It's why we play, you know, running out, playing in front of people. It gives you that extra buzz. When you're playing at home in front of a big stadium, it feels like you've got a little bit more. They are the 16th man. They get you home in those tough moments, and yeah, it's really hard to describe the feeling when you run out to a big crowd. It really is, and it's pretty special.
We got a bit of a taste of it last year, and especially England as well. I'm sure Aussie fans will come and get around it with you know, full capacity stadiums. So you know, we'd love to have them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. They'll be bringing a large number of their support base as well. So it'll be good to you know, get the whole of Australia backing us, singing the Waltz in Matilda.
Fantastic. Sure. There is so much to look out for this weekend. All of those deciders, North v South. You're going to see Australia and England in crystal clear 4K right here on Stan Sport. Thanks to this team of champions tonight, audience as well. To take us out, the legendary John Williamson.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoker, and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue. Hey, true blue, give it to me straight, face to face. Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race. Hey, true blue. Sing with me now. True blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or will he be right? True sing now. True blue. Is it me and you? Is it me and you? Mom and Dad? Is it Mom and Dad? Cockatoo? Is it a cockatoo? Standing by you, mate? Is it standing by you, mate? When he's in a fight, oh, will he be right? True